Okay, any other questions? We've kind of been all over the place on some of these different little pieces of the puzzle. Light little touch on POs, light little touch on parts, light little touch on some invoicing, light little touch on customers. Our game today is kind of to get into customers and kind of do some stuff like this. What let's do is let's see if anybody has any comments, and then we'll actually take a small little break, okay? It's probably about that time in the morning. Nick, any comments or questions or anything like that?
No, I think, it just appears to me that you have to get hands-on and use it to get more comfortable with it. There's just enough variances that you really have to, experience and usage is how you get comfortable. It's not something that just in 5 minutes you're not going to come and modify. The bigger your inventory, the more you have to, or you're going to be consistently applying. But when you start trying to do individual items, you can spend a lot of time messing with prices before you get comfortable with it.
You really could. And what we're trying to do is help educate business owners so that they're not like marking it up at 1.2 and then giving a discount on top of that and not even realizing that they're totally getting into the whole ball of wax.
And I think the beauty of this though is that, like a lot of people don't, if you put it at 0.65, you don't get 65%.
You don't.
And I think that whole percentage thing, a lot of people, it's not something that becomes very easily.
Correct.
And so
correct.
having the system help you do that, you understand that it's you have to work at developing those ratios, because percentages are kind of unique to real mathematicians as opposed to the average person whose skills are more in something other than math is strong suit.
Awesome. I want to show you something that's kind of fun here, okay? Like sometimes you might have a specific item, and say you even wanted to apply a discount on top of it, okay? So let's go to our kits really quick for just a minute. I'm just going to go into the customer view of it, and I'm down in here, and I'm good, I'm happy, everything's all fine and dandy. What I wanted to show you here is that if I go into the full mode right here, I actually have the ability to come into the profit discount calculator. So I currently know that my cost is $476. I'm selling it for this. So I'm currently at this profit margin. If I wanted to, with this particular calculator, watch this. Say I wanted to maintain a 60% profit margin with a 10% discount. So that's multiple math pieces going into it, okay? So if I hit calculate, what I'm looking for is what does my price need to be so that I can still have a 60% margin even after I apply a discount, which would be $1.32. Okay, so basically instead of selling it for $19.95, if I wanted to, I would have to at least sell it for $13.22. I could still show a 10% discount and still be at my 60% profit margin. So this little calculator is kind of handy. Yes, Roxanne?
Can you back up just a couple to see where you went into the
Absolutely. Okay, so basically what I did was I went to some item, okay, and so let's just go right here. I went kit, okay?
Oh, that was one of your items. Okay.
Yep, it's one of my items.
That kit, and I'm
Yep,
like,
yep.
what's that?
What the heck is that? It was a pumpkin starter kit, okay? And so then what I went into is I basically went into the full version. So the difference right here is customer friendly. So watch this. It doesn't have any sort of costs or profit, okay? If I hit back, the exact same thing, if I go to full mode, it looks like I'm on the same page, but I expand the bottom and I kind of show you a little bit of information, okay? And then I went, let's go play with this a little bit. What it does is it pulls across on the top what are called variables, and it says, hey, cool, here's what my cost, and here's this, and do you want to start playing with it so that we can kind of figure out where we need to be, okay? This really helps if you're doing contract pricing for people, especially like big ticket items like hundreds and thousands of dollars of this and this for a certain price and still trying to maintain your margins. You kind of like, okay, where am I at? You can even do this whole thing on the cart as a whole. So say you build up your entire cart, and then you could be like, okay, I still need to maintain at least this margin on my whole cart. Like it allows you to do that kind of stuff. Cheryl, yes?
So if I had a monthly sale on the pumpkin kits, it's just this prime time, and so would I go in and change the price there, or would I just do it on my invoice so that my original price stayed the $19.95
your choice on that, okay? And sometimes a sale depends on the customer that's coming in. So if you have somebody that just comes, bam, bam, you may not even offer the sale to them, okay? Like, I'm not trying to be mean or whatever.
They didn't ask, they don't get it.
They didn't ask, they don't get it. Like, I've worked for a number of different retail people, and they're like, you have the availability to discount up to 20% without asking me. However, please don't abuse that privilege.
Yeah.
So like if you're working with somebody and you've got a great rapport and you're going back and forth, tell you what, how about if I give you a little discount? Oh, sweet, yeah, I'll get this too. Like, but you don't have to offer it to everybody. It's actually a tool that's in the salesperson's bag. So I would definitely leave it at the $19.95 and then just say, oh, today we're running a special. Thanks for coming in, Sandy. And then you would apply that discount to that item and be like, cool, I gave you a 10% discount. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, by the way, I'll get this. Like, you may end up picking up more sales that way, but you don't have to give it to them. Okay? If you do want to change the price, you physically just go in and say, I want everything to be $7.99 this month or whatever, and all of a sudden it's going to be at a sale, $7.99. Okay? So that's kind of one of the pieces. This little piece of the puzzle right here, this profit and discount calculator, can I show you how powerful it is if you go to a cart as a whole? Watch this. Let's go to Will Smith's again. Actually, let's go to this. Invoice last. Okay, so here was this particular piece of the puzzle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just say duplicate this to the cart. Okay, it pulls it into cart mode, and right here I've got a whole bunch of different little pieces of the puzzle. If I click this profit discount, it basically says you're looking at $39.70 total that's in your cart for a total dollar figure of $86.57. You're currently making 54% on the total cart. Okay, so that's kind of nice. Then you could be like, you know what? I'm trying to shoot for about a 30% profit margin. So how much of a discount can I give them or whatever? So then you could even just start playing with this discount. Say I gave them a 25% discount, what would happen? If you're just kind of playing with it right here, you're not even physically doing it. Basically, once it comes back, it kind of says, oh, I'm at 38%. Cool. So I could even give them a 25% discount, which would basically be $21 worth, and I'd still be fine. Let's bump it up just a little bit, see what happens if I go to 28%. Okay? So I'm kind of looking at this profit margin. Oh, let's go a little higher. Let's go to 35% if you wanted to. Okay? But basically, it doesn't hurt the cart at all. Oh, I just dropped barely below my 30% that I was trying to reach. So probably I'm going to go like this. 30% calculated. Here's my thing, and add that. Okay? So basically what I did, in a nutshell, was I basically gave them this special 30% discount to do, but I was kind of playing with numbers behind the scenes to kind of see where things were at.
And where did you click to go to do it to the whole cart?
Okay, up the top, you have to have at least one item in here to actually get to these little links, okay? This just says view profit per line, which kind of breaks it out individually, like what am I making, okay, where are things at? The next thing was what was the profit and discount calculator, the cart as a whole. And if I go there, then all of a sudden I can start playing with what's going on. And I'm currently at 34% because my new value is $60 because I just gave a 30% discount. Okay. Anyway, it's just ways to kind of play with your numbers. So retail, bam, 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 bam. You don't do that. But if you're in contract type stuff, you play with your numbers all the time. Okay. You might have vendor A that you always give a discount to, this other vendor that you don't, and or this one that you have to match a price to, and like you're trying to see if you can match it and still stay within your bounds. And so it's just a tool. It's just a tool to kind of play with your numbers. So.
And it can be done with inventory in general, or it could be anything. It could be wholesale. It could be.
Yeah. There's multiple ways that like we have these same links to calculators off any stock unit, off any item, and off any cart. You can kind of like play with some of your numbers as far as like what's going on. That's kind of your sales process pieces.
You know, I've never had a client that even goes that route. They always have it in their head or figure it out before they even set it up. This just seems like it's a lot easier and it does the math. Like,
well, it does do the math. Otherwise, you're literally like your calculator. You're doing calculator stuff all the time. It's a small permission. So this piece right here, like if I know the cost, like I came from the cart, okay. But watch this. If I go to my main home page, I I think it's thinking right now for a second.
What really got me is that because I know a lot of customers think in the markup stage, but they are also taking the markup as a profit.
Correct.
And to know that when I said I want to make a 65, were you bringing that up that, wait a minute, your markup at 65% is not a profit of 65%. And I like that that tool separates that, so you can look at it and say, oh, I want 65%, that's my profit, and you put it in, you're like, wait a minute, my profit is only 35, but I want a 65, and that tool there gives you that option of saying, okay, is this what you want, and this is what you need to do, and this is what your markup will be. I like that. That's really nice.
Correct. What I was going to show you is I went from the cart and it pulled in values for me. If you go to your classic homepage and you come down and you go to the profit and discount calculator, it does not pull values into it. But basically what it does is it kind of like says, hey, what's the generic? And then if you knew the cost, say I knew that the cost was $55.33, and say I wanted to sell this for $150, and I just say calculate. Aha, no wonder I was going slow. I was right during the middle of a virus update.
Oh, right.
Okay, so basically it just did my math and it says, hey, that's a 2.71 markup to make about 63% right there. Like you can play with numbers at any, okay, what if I went to $100, you know? So that's going to be that's going to be a 1 point something markup, okay? 1.81 markup, and you're only making 44% on that. And your total profit is $44.
I'm gonna totally start telling clients to use that because they always come that with they already have that stuff figured out.
Mm-hmm.
But you never know how they get to that point, and I bet if they started just playing with that, it would be so much easier for them.
You can modify quantities. We've always been just doing a quantity of 1. What if you had a quantity of 17.5? Say you were selling partial poundage or something like this. It was still at $55, and you wanted to sell it for $100 a piece. You do the calculations, it adds those extra pieces in there so you can kind of see what's my total profit that I'm actually going to make. It's basically working the deal before it actually hits the paper. Mm-hmm. So it's just a calculator. It's just a fun little calculator.
I've never had to use that.
Yep. The other piece that's kind of nice is if they do want to learn about like what is the different pieces and why do we do this, like we try to put this little note in here. The reason that this is different than the profit margin is because you have to take it back in. And computers love to do math. Watch this right here. If I take any value times 1.81, it automatically works, even if it's 0. Okay? However, if I have to divide the cost back in, if the cost is 0, all of a sudden it's like division by 0 problem. So that's why computer people love to use the 1.76 or the 1.65 markup. It'll work on everything. It's just straight multiplication. But actually to get to the profit margin, like what your percentage is, you have to do division. So all of a sudden you have to be like, if there's by 0, then I have to do this, and like it creates a conditional piece rather than just a straight multiplication. And so that's, anyway, just a small little piece of the puzzle there. So, Sherry, did you have a question?
I didn't. I clicked my wrong button.
Oh, okay, no problem. No problem. Okay, awesome.
I have one input question.
Okay, yes. Well, let's do that, and then we're going to go ahead and roll into a break.
Okay. So I set up a design voice and everything for this client. Exceeded the 30 days, how do I find it?
Not a problem. You need to find your receivables homepage, buddy. Okay, watch this right here. Just really quick, and this is actually dealing right with what we're doing. Your customer came in. I'm going to kind of draw a little marker thing. Okay? Your customer came in, and through the shopping cart, you created an invoice. And say you've got a whole bunch of little items that you pulled out of your inventory. Okay? That was the single transaction. You put it on account. Where did it go?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Is it disappeared? I can't pull it up on. If I pull up a customer and trying to look at and try to pull it up, it still shows 0.
Okay. No, it won't show 0. It'll actually show what they still owe.
If I put on
It's called right here, AR. Who knows what that accounting term is for AR?
Accounts receivable.
Accounts receivable, your customer waiting rooms. That's where that thing shows up at. It's technically still held on the invoice, but because it's not satisfied, it virtually flows up to the customer waiting room saying, hey, Jimmy, Johnny, whoever it was, still owes me money on this thing. It's called accounts receivable. Okay? Awesome. Santiago, we can show you how to do that as we kind of go throughout the day today, but just think of if if somebody owes me, it's a receivable. I'm still going to receive something or get something from them, okay? That's called accounts receivable. Cool.
Okay, the reason why I asked the question is I put a client on invoice expecting to get paid.
Uh-huh.
Never got paid, so it kind of dissolved into.
Okay, so that it doesn't naturally come up and tell you, saying like, oh, just so you know, this one's a certain
So
age. It just kind of exists there, and then you check it.
When I do a quick search for like quotes, it only just going to give me what's, recent. It's not going to tell me what's old.
Okay, so what happens is when you do certain searches, lots of times the search criteria has a date range in it, and by default, like say for instance, watch this. If I go to my invoice homepage, like I go here, and I know we just barely started this corporation. It shows me 8 results. Now technically, what it's actually doing behind the scenes is, watch this, there's a magic date range. It's actually only pulling me a month worth of data. So if I needed a lot longer, all I'd have to do is go like this. Let's back this up to 7/1 or whatever I needed to do, okay? Go get me from 7/1 to 10/23 and then hit search. Like, I realize we only have 8 in this particular corporation, but if you had more, it extends that search. By default, we're often trying to just show you the last 30 days. It's kind of like a rolling 30-day. This is your current stuff, so instead of dragging it.
Your search high, right?
That's correct. So basically every home page that we land on has a show hide search criteria as far as the main pieces, okay? What it is it basically just expands some search capacity within that section. So if I go like this, just so you can see it, Santiago, I blew the page up a little bit, okay?
All on the same page.
If I hit show hide search criteria, all it's doing is just the exact same page. It's just show hide and expanding that little piece of the puzzle. But anyway, it happens on every single page, so watch this. We don't have any deposits or anything yet, but you'll see the exact same thing on almost all of the home pages. Show hide search criteria. It's the same page, just expandable. Expenses, it's going to look the exact same. Once you learn that there's some kind of standard features that are in every single page, you'll be like, oh, okay, cool, I got it. Kind of figured out what's going on. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and do a break, and we'll go ahead and do a little 10-minute break. It's about, let's come back at 10:50.